Goba, game week 8. A whole lot of controversy. Not such a great game week 7 for you. I think let's just start this press conference easy and just say what advice do you have for not just yourself but other managers who haven't had such great game weeks in a row, because there are a lot who've hit average twice.
Yeah, no, how's it, Kat? I think it's not to panic, eh? For me, when I look at how the team performed, I didn't back my Arsenal players, I had 15 points that was just on the bench for the Arsenal players. If they were in the starting lineup, I ended up getting 47 points, which is 2 less than average. If I had those 2 Arsenal players playing, I would have at least gotten 62. So for me, in terms of points, it doesn't look great. But I feel that I've got players who are contributing, But don't panic. It's still game week 7. And, we've got plenty of time to really attack certain game weeks. Game week 9 is coming, international break is coming. We're seeing a lot of players being injured left, right, and center as well. So we're going to have a lot of managers who have been doing well in the previous game weeks who are actually going to be forced to make certain changes. Some have already played their wild card. I hope it's worked out for them. But yeah, no, don't panic. Be patient. Yeah, that's all I can share for now.
All right, thanks, Carl, for that. My question to you, if you could just give us thoughts on your transfer plans for this week, considering that there's quite a number of players on yellow from your team, and breaking news is that Estepinen is now flagged red, so which means he'll be out for a very long time. So what are your early transfer plans for this week?
Oh, chaps, the breaking news, that is really, it shattered my plans, because initially I was definitely going to be shipping out Rashford. Looking at how he played, especially in the Champions League game, his body language is not showing any form of confidence. I don't really see him giving me any returns, especially his expected goal involvement and so forth. So he's definitely going to be out. I was also looking at Romero, looking at bringing in someone like a Trippier. I was also thinking of Sterling, but now, since Estepinian is only expected back on the 4th of November, it's something that I really need to consider. But I think for now, I'll definitely be looking at Rashford, Romero, and then obviously I'll probably end up taking a hit with Estepinian. To see maybe probably bring in another Newcastle defender. But we'll see. But definitely Rashford and Romero will not be featuring in game week 8. That I can assure you. I feel that I've just given them more than enough time, and it's high time, since I've got 2 free transfers, put them to good use, and then just see how the players that I bring in. So obviously Rashford, I'm looking at bringing in maybe a player from Spurs, probably like a Madison, or maybe a young Jared Bowen. With Romero, then obviously I did mention I'll be replacing him with Trippier. Yeah, I think that's that for now.
Thank you for your thoughts there, Goba. I think my question here is I think Romero has a good game week, and looking at people who've played their wild cards this game week, a lot of them are bringing in a Tottenham defender. So because they've got two good game week fixtures coming up in a row. So my question to you is, what are your thoughts on the players, on the managers playing their wild cards? Is this maybe an option for you, looking at the fact that apart from Romero, who has two good fixtures, I personally don't feel like you should be taking him out, but maybe, you have to address Wisa, you have to address Sterling, you have to address Saka, you have to address Rashford, you have to address the Stupinian. Is the wild card a option for you this game week?
No, thanks, Kat. With the wild card, I mean, as we all know, we get two in the season. So I've got up until game week 19 to use my wild card, okay? And now for me to throw it out in game week 8, I feel that it's still a bit premature. There's also a possibility of a double game week for Man City and Brentford, I think, in game week 18. Obviously, I'm just still awaiting that confirmation. So again, for me, wildcarding, yes, my team I don't have the most favored players. I don't have players that most FPL managers are buying into. I've got more your differential players that not many people have. Okay, so in order for me to have any hope of climbing my mini leagues, I need to try and counter what other managers are doing. And yes, at the moment it hasn't seemed to pay off. But a wild card is not an option for me right now, because for me it's a waste. I'd much rather just hold on to what I have and then change players here and there. Maybe I can rather sacrifice taking a hit here and there, since I've got the wild card until game week 19, and there's a lot of games between then. There's also an international break that's coming up after game week 8 as well. So the longer I hold my chips, the longer I'm going to stay in it, I already see there are managers who've played their wild card. Yes, some it's worked out, some it hasn't. And for me, I'd much rather play it when I feel that it's the right time. And for me, game week 8 is not the right time. All it really takes is one really good game week, where if I can get anything between 60 to 72, 78 points, I'll be doing quite well. So no, not a wild card yet. Holding it.
All right, thanks for that, Koba. From your team, we can see that you've got basically 5 players that are playing in one fixture. Are you that type of manager whereby if you see so many players playing in one fixture, you tend to, try not to have so many players in one fixture? Or are you fine with that type of or number of players for that one fixture going up against each other?
Yeah, no, thanks, chaps. That's actually a very good question. It is something that I looked at and I didn't like it. I don't like it at all. But looking at my situation, I would just have to at least try and manage it as best as I can. Obviously, it's not ideal, because if it favors one team, then obviously you'll probably only have 3 players that are really going to give you some form of points or expected goal involvement, But also with the Premier League, anything can happen. So even if they are involved, maybe their result might not favor the one or favor the other. But as long as each individual contributes something, especially looking at the Arsenal Man City game, it is a tough game, but there's going to be goals, all right. So I'm just hoping that those goals or those expected goal involvements, it comes from the players that I have in my team. But it's also no reason for me to panic. It is just one game week. I've had two really bad game weeks already. So if I do have another one that's not too great, it's not really gonna make me feel any worse or anything. It's just gonna be something that I'll just have to take on the chin and we push on. It's part of the game. It's part of the game. I'll just have to weather the storm because I'm sure, after this game week 8, things should look up, and it will help me with my decision making as well. Yeah, thanks.
All right, Koba. We hope you do weather the storm. But on the brighter side of life, speaking about the Son, many FPL managers are taking out Saka for Son. He seems like he's going to have a price rise this evening, which will take him up to 9.4. Is he an option, or is there no money in the bank and we have to look at a medicine, as you mentioned before, considering that Son is a very viable captain option this game week?
Yeah, no, thanks, guys. I think Son, ideally, if his price was right, he would obviously be the go-to. But for me, I'm looking at balance. In order for my team to have balance, I need to be bringing in 2 players, 3 players. So Son, if he does come in, he's definitely going to dry up my coffers. That's really going to affect me going to the game week 9 and 10. So I think I'd much rather look at a cheaper midfield option, because at the same time, I'm also really considering Liverpool fixtures after game week 10 onwards. So I'd much rather just keep the sense that I have. So I wouldn't necessarily be going for Son at the moment. And with Saka as well, Arteta really likes him. He backs him quite a bit. So I'd much rather just keep him on the bench for the next 2 game weeks, or 1, and then just see. Because even in the last game week, he was showing yellow. Didn't expect him to play, and boom, the young man did what he does best. He scored a goal. Obviously, in the Champions League game, he ended up coming off, so that was a bit of a worry. But besides that, I think I will keep him for this game week. Because Saka has been producing. When he plays, he produces. I'm more worried about guys that I've kept in the team for the longest time, especially the likes of your Rashford, who hasn't necessarily delivered. Yeah, I think for now, if I do bring in Spurs, it will definitely be a Madison of a Son, purely for the financial reasons. Thanks.
Thank you, Koba. Final question from me. I just want to find out, just basically your thoughts on the last game week. When we saw your lineup, we saw that you had Saka and Gabriel on the bench, and you had placed, players like Wissa and Sterling, who didn't really quite perform for you, and you even had Bell as your third defender. Just talk us through, why did you have Saka and Gabriel on the bench? As quite clearly, they would have scored you 15 points extra. So I just need you to talk us through your reasoning for that, as obviously Wissa and Sterling did absolutely nothing for you.
Yeah, thanks, chaps, for your scathing analysis. Look, when I looked at the Aston Villa fixture, especially for Brighton, it looked quite appetizing. I felt as if at the time Brighton's form looked very decent. In terms of Arsenal, really the only reason why I had Saka on my bench is because of the yellow indication that, hey, he may play, he may not play. Yeah, with Gabriel, I think it was a technical glitch. Because in actual fact, he he was on my team. I think I probably just didn't save, you know. So it was just one of those things. Yeah, I did mention in one of my earlier responses that it is something that I missed out on capitalizing on those 15 points. You know, it's something that I take on the chin. FPL is very, very brutal. You know, you put players on the bench and they score you points. So it's just what's one of those things. It's an opportunity missed. I don't really cry over spilled milk, but what I do know is that like I need to start backing my Arsenal players more. You know, maybe the Man United in me was like, let me bench these bastards. And then these bastards, you know what they did? They showed me that, hey, you bench us and we score you points. You know, so it's just one of those things. Nothing really to write home about. But yeah, they did the business. So obviously going forward, it's also a learning that I'll take. You know, Arsenal is playing good football. We've got to give them that credit. Win or lose, they are playing very good football. For me, out of the teams in England, they have the most cohesion. You know, they together, they gel. You know, at first Gabriel wasn't necessarily playing due to who got injured. I can't remember who got injured before, but he was coming off from the bench, and then all of a sudden he's starting. He's playing well. He's contributing. So definitely Arsenal. You need to make sure if you've got Arsenal players and if they are starting, if they're not in your team, you're brave. It's a lesson that I took. But other than that, you know, it's one of those things. I mean, now we look at Brighton, you look at the fixtures that they've got. I mean, Espignon, already now he's red, he's out until November. So I think their time is up for now, up until what, game week 10. So yeah, it was just one of those things, hey? That Man United side of me decided to bench them, and yeah, they punished me. That's all I can say.
Thank you, Gova.
Thanks, guys.